Namaste, namaste, everyone. We're doing another live. The topic of the day is what is bugging you? Happy Thursday, everyone. Namaste, namaste, and welcome, everybody. Before everyone join us today, I'm going to be doing a join live with Megan Palmer. Let me add Payman as a moderator. Megan Palmer and Brixie is going to be another wonderful live. We're just going to open up everything and see what's going on in our lives. What is really bugging us? So before everyone else join us, write a comment for me and tell me, what do you think is bugging you? What's happening in your life at this moment that it makes you feel unease? It makes you feel like you lost control. It feels like something is happening that you don't have control over. And I'm going to be giving you some tools so everyone will know from this moment on that whatever is happening in my life, that I feel like I am being bugged, it's probably related to some event outside of you, to some people behaving in a way that you might think you don't have control. But after all, we will learn that events will take place constantly. We are living in a universe that is teaching us lessons all the time. The lessons are neither good or bad. They are basically lessons, is for my growth. And what's happening, oh, Brix is here. Hold on one second. So whatever is happening, it's for my good. Everything is here to help me. Do Are you aware that this is a friendly universe? Good day, Brixie. Welcome, honey.
Hi, Sudie. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
We are very glad to have.
Hello.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, Megan.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited about this live. Super.
So am I. So I was thinking, is there any way, like Megan, you could move a little more back, and Brixie, if you can move a little bit more forward, cut off the head. So
Like
we
this?
are kind of aligned,
Um,
yes. And Brixie, if you can bring your phone a little bit lower so we avoid the ceiling, and then we have more of you in the picture.
okay, one second. Let me.
Sure.
Um,
There we go. Much better, Brixie. Much better. We can see your beautiful face better now. Okay. Brixie, our topic is what is bugging you? Is there anything that's bugging you right now?
hmm. Nothing really, but I would just say, like having a community or friend group around you that is trusting and loyal. I think for me, it would probably have something to do with that. Just having people around you that you can trust, that are like-minded, and that you can learn from.
Mhm.
Are we back?
You are back, but I don't think Brixie has a good connection, Megan.
We lost Bexy.
Yes. Let's see. Let me invite her again. I don't think her connection was that great. There
Oh
we
yeah, she's
go.
here.
Hi.
Hello.
So let me sort this out.
So, Brixie, from what I hear, you're saying there's nothing that's wrong in your life. You're just hoping and wishing for a community that is this sisterhood, brotherhood. It's coming from more love, compassion, understanding. That's what's missing in your life.
Yes.
Okay, now you have Megan and I, so I think
We are a community by ourselves.
there we go. We are coming together. All the enlightened souls are finding one another. The energy is perfect for us to find each other and is beautiful. Megan, I leave the life to you.
Sure. So today we're talking about what's bugging you. We want to take a deep dive into what is that little noise in the back of our minds that every time we're about to experience a peaceful moment comes in and says, there's something wrong, come attend to me, which as Sudi explained before, is the mind and the ego. And Sudi, one of your practices that I've been religiously practicing and is helping me is that every time my mind and my ego tries to get my attention, I look at it as a child who needs my attention. Sometimes I ignore the child, sometimes I hold the child, sometimes I give love to the child, depending on what my adult self thinks is the right thing for that moment for the child.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to take a deep dive with you to help people deal with the thought that is bugging them right now.
Yeah, exactly. So what I think is because Brixie, I've been a coach or for whoever is joining us right now. And first of all, I say namaste and welcome everybody. For people who just start following us, this is Megan and I have an intention, and now Brixie has joined us to become a soul family, to be together, to create a community where we all feel as one, and then we see what we can do for one another. How can I help you? How can I be in your service? What can we do? So I'm very glad and I'm very excited to be here and find you two beautiful souls who just come to my life. I'm very happy about that. Now, I've been working as a coach for the last 40 years, and all I have done is listening to people's stories. And I should say that after 40 years talking with God knows so many people, I never find anybody who hasn't experienced dramas or traumas or doesn't have any wounds from their childhoods. So let's take this first, that all of us human beings, as we enter planet Earth, we came with this mission that I'm a brave soul. I'm going to go on earth plane with all the density and whatever it is. I'm going to enter this earth school to be sitting in different classes to learn, and this is all for my good. And I believe that the universe is at our service. We have a beautiful, helpful, giving, loving universe that is here to serve us. So first of all, let us all bring our attention to this part. Everything is here to serve me. How does it feel when you and I start thinking, oh, this is a universe who has my back, and everything that's showing off in my life right now, if my mind doesn't translate it as good or bad, is my mind doesn't translate it as I am suffering while I'm going through this lesson. If I bring my attention into the everything is here to serve me, the trauma, the abuse, the abandonment issue, the codependency issue, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything is here to teach me a lesson. And all of it is coming for me to experience this, whatever it is, or whatever has been, and is all an experience and is all here to serve me, to upgrade to a higher level. So if we understand as human beings, we are all the same. We all have traumas. We are all wounded, and all of this. Now, what I want us to do at this moment is to bring our attention to what it is that we think is bugging us right now. And then once you picture that, you think you find your boyfriend who is cheating on you, or you lost a loved one, or whatever it is that is bugging you right now. If at this very moment we close the past, so let's put a wall over here, and whatever the storyline is, whatever has happened in the past, we stop it right here, and then we place another wall here, and that's into the future, which I no longer worry about what's going to happen in the future. Am I going to feel safe or not? Is the money going to come or not? If we put these two walls here, the past is closed, the future is closed. At this very moment, the real time, what's happening here, is there anything that's missing in this moment? Since you and I know the only real moment is this moment, this second is I have the power to make a decision. I have a power to do something. All my energy is in this moment. So whenever I go to the past, I lose energy. Whenever I go into the future, I lose energy. So let's all bring our full focus and attention to this moment, and we see this moment is full, is complete. The breath is coming and going. Life is happening outside of me. The life doesn't need me to do anything for life to take place. So everything is here, right? So are you guys missing anything in this moment right here? Yes or no?
Bexy, you go.
No, not in this moment, no.
Yeah. And
Um,
you, Megan?
what I'm missing is I keep looking at the number of people that are joining, and I'm like, why don't more people join? Why
Oh, oh,
this can
oh,
help a
oh,
lot of
oh, oh,
people.
oh, 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 oh. See, Megan, your mind is tricking you instead of you being fully focused and trust that the universe has it all figured out, planned
Sure.
everything. I was talking to Megan. She said the same thing, Brixie, to me. You should be having millions of followers. Why don't you have so many followers? And I said, Megan, trust that the universe has planned everything consciously. And I told her an example. I told her about um, Ramana Maharaji. He was the beginning of everything. And one day, one of his disciples asked Maharaji, and he said, Maharaji, you are the real guru. How, and you start the whole teaching. Everybody is copying you and saying the same thing. They have learned everything from you. They were your student, your disciple. How come they have so many followers and you only have a few?
Mhm.
And do you know what he responded?
What?
He said to him, he said, they are just collecting the flies.
Mm.
The real one who really want to be enlightened are going to be sitting here. So now let's be fully focused at this moment. Doesn't matter how many people are here. Let's say there is, let's imagine from this second on that we are doing this live together. It's just the three of us.
I
Okay. All right.
love that. All
Okay.
right.
So what happened, guys, if you if you put a wall here to the past, my drama, my trauma, the storyline, whatever it has been, we all have them. And if we put a wall and don't go back, as we've been talking about this in our joint lives previous lives with Megan. And I said to her, I said, as long as you allow the mind to look for a trauma or a place that needs healing, trust me, your mind will find something. So at some point in our lives, we have to come to this understanding. If I listen to the mind who's going to tell me you are wounded and you need healing, and I listen to that, the mind will constantly go to the past and find something. And you think, this is a discovery. Now, how am I going to heal this? And you somehow find a way to heal that. Then your mind bring another one and another one and another one. And this is an ongoing loop that you get into. But what about if we just accept the past? What about if we accept the story? This is the story. This is what has been. And just come to peace with whatever it was. It was a learning lesson. It was the classes that we took and all of that. And then I don't need to go into the future. I don't need to figure out the future. If I trust the universe, I just leave it up to universe and the universe will take it over. How would that feel? Would that help us with what's bugging us right now, right here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel protected. I feel like, okay, like, why am I bothered if I know the universe is gonna figure this out for me?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like the universe is my parent.
So, Brixie, tell us about you. Tell us about your journey and where do you think you want to go from here?
So maybe about 3 years ago, that's when I decided to shift my mindset and dive into like self-development, spirituality, and things like that. So I'm on that journey still. I'm learning and growing every day. And where I want to be is just better every day. So helping myself and then I can pour into others. So that's where I want to be, is just a better version of myself every day and just focusing on me, to be better than I was yesterday rather than looking at other people, because you know what you see sometimes is not really as it really is, and everyone has their own journey and different things have happened to different people to get them to where they are. So yeah, just trying to stay tunnel vision on myself to be the best version, and then that helps everyone else as well.
Mm. I have a question for you, Bixie. What is it or who is it that telling you right now that you need to be better? You need to become better. What is it that's telling you that what you are and who you are and the place that you are right now is not enough and you have to work on yourself to become better? Where is this coming
Um,
from?
I don't know. I think it's just me. It's like don't know, just like a voice in my head. Because I think if you stay where you are, you will get left behind. Because I think the best thing that you can do is to grow every day. Because when you think you know everything and there's no more to learn, then I think it's kind of a negative mindset, because there's always things you can learn through experiences, through good, through bad, through, I don't know, learning from videos online, learning from other people. So I think it's just something in me that just says continue to be better, even if it's a tiny bit each day, just to learn something new, because you'll get left behind.
Okay. So what I'm hearing right now, Bixie, these are two different things. You're
Which thing?
saying that I am after knowledge. I need to get more knowledge, but you are enough as you are right now. So you don't necessarily need to get better, but you can add more knowledge to your being.
Mm.
Does that make
Yeah, I
sense?
understand. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because the minute I say I need to be better, the energy that's here, that means I am not in complete acceptance of who I am. But when I say I am whole, I'm complete, I am one with the creation, I am enough, I accept
Mm,
myself fully and totally, but it's good for me to get more knowledge,
mm,
to have more understanding, because this is what I see the problem with religion, that they promise a heaven up there, and you need to be good here, you need to always watch out what you're doing, be to get to the promised land, that once you leave earth plane you can go to heaven. And I say this is wrong. Why can't we understand that heaven can be right here? I can experience heaven on earth right here. Actually, Megan and I had an event this past weekend. She said, let's call it heaven on earth.
uh,
So why don't I fully enjoy myself here right now? This could be
I know.
heaven, instead of making it wrong here and be always worried, am I doing it right? Am I going right way? Am I am I not going to be punished? What about the karma? In the hope that someday I will go to heaven.
Heaven is a vibrational frequency, not a location. And I learned that over and over again. And at our event, I was able to dance in a way that I had not danced in 15 years because I remember as a teenager, I used to dance a lot, but it wasn't me who was dancing. It was an energy that would come through my body and would move me and dance me. And for 15 years, I couldn't feel that energy. And people were like, Megan, you used to dance all the time. And I'm like, but it wasn't me who was dancing. Some energy was dancing me. And finally, I felt it at our event because the energy frequency of the location we were in, when Sudi did the healing, the frequency went so high that suddenly something moved me and, like pushed, like lifted me off my seat and started to move me. So I didn't dance. The energy danced me.
You allowed yourself to be.
Yes.
Once we're not in our mind, because the mind was telling you all of these years you're so broken, you need healing, you're not what are people going to think and that stuff. But the event we had, the energy that was built up there allowed you to be yourself. You weren't thinking any longer, how am I going to be observed? What are other people think? Is this right for me to dance so freely? Because this is what I often see, that society, the upbringing, the conditioning is always making us wrong. And it gets to the point from our childhood, oh, don't do that. You should not do that. That wasn't right what you did. This upbringing bring us to the point that we keep constantly saying, I don't have the knowing what's right or wrong. Our ability of making decision is being taken away from us, and then we can no longer be authentic. We cannot trust ourselves that if I feel like dancing right now, I should be dancing, and I shouldn't care what anybody thinks or how they feel. So what are we going to do? I let me read this comment. Sometimes the lesson is so painful, it's hard. Tomam Mokes, if I'm pronouncing your right name wrong, apology. Here's the thing, love. Everything that we perceive in the material world is created in our mind. Our whole reality, the matrix that you and I are living in, is created in our psyche, right? So, also the translation that the mind is giving us is the translation of good or bad, hard or difficult. So, at this moment, if you change the meaning of the event, instead of, oh, it was so hard, change the meaning to how amazing for me to be able to experience this lesson. Then the whole energy will change. Do you know what I mean? Because right now, as you listen to the mind and ego, it says, oh, poor you, you had to go through this hard task. It was so difficult, it was so painful. But if you change the meaning, wait a minute, when I come on planet Earth, the universe, the agreement I had with the universe is, how easy or how difficult do I want my journey to be? And the more evolutions that I want to have at this lifetime, the more difficult tasks and classes I will take. So when I look at my life, I went through so much you would not believe. I mean, by age 30, I had so much heartache, I had so much difficulties. And I said, the life that I lived till age 30, hundreds of people might not even experience one half of that, right? But I was proud of myself that my soul has chosen such a difficult task, because my soul and the universe believe that I can overcome this. So, how would it be if you look at it this way?
So
What do you think,
mhm.
Bessie?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, and I think that if you go through these hard times, then you just see it as good, because on the other side, there's something really good if you can push through that. So, like you said, it's about the perspective. If you view it as hard, then it's hard, but you should be grateful for it, because before something amazing, you have to go through something hard. That's kind of like your reward.
Mhm.
I have a different perspective, if I may add. And I actually, Sudhi, I learned this through working with you. So through working with you, I used to think the same thing, that when the universe is, when I'm going through a hard time, it's like the universe is testing me, and like I'm the one who picked all these lessons. But in reality, it wasn't very soothing for me in that moment. None of these thoughts were soothing me when I was going through a very hard moment. Until I met you, and this is my understanding. Every single soul that decides to come on the earth plane, they decide they want to get a certain degree. Someone wants to only pass the first grade, someone wants to pass the high school, someone wants to get become a professor, right? So based on the degree we choose, we have different lessons to learn, different classes to attend to. And the reason some classes feel so hard and so difficult is because we're not really understanding the lesson. It's exactly like, think of it as when we're at school and the teacher had to repeat over and over again, and we would fail once and twice and third times. Why were we failing? Because we were not really grasping the lesson or understanding the lesson. And through working with you, because you are, to me, I consider you as the translator for the universe. Anybody who comes to you, you tell them, okay, the universe is trying to teach you this. Learn your lesson so you won't have to suffer. I think if we learn the language of the universe, we don't have to suffer at all, because we understand the lesson so we can pass and not need to go through it over and over again. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I'm experiencing through working with you.
Of course, when something happens, there are two ways. Am I listening to the way that the mind and ego is translating that event? Or am I separating myself from the meaning that the mind and ego is giving to that event and quieting myself and listen, asking the universe, what's the lesson? What do you want me to learn here? I just said that in my other lives, and I said I was always a very hard worker, right? I left my country when I was 17. I came with a mission that no matter how hard it is, I'm going to have to stand up on my own feet. So I went through working and putting myself to college and all of this stuff. And I always was making money. And then at some point, I lost all of my money, right? So I said, in that moment, I was standing in my yard and I said to the universe, I know you give it and I know you take it. If this means that I have to start from the bottom, and the message was yes, the universe didn't allow me to finish my sentence. And I was laughing and I said, okay, I accept that. I didn't go after who took my money. I didn't go like, oh my God, all of these years, all of this hard work, all of this saving money suddenly is like, push, is gone. And I didn't do any of that. I said, okay, so the universe is saying, I want you to prove yourself to yourself over and over and over again. So I start from the next day. I said, my coaching session, I announced 20% off. And I didn't have time to breathe from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. I was constantly doing one session after another, right? And one day I stood in the middle of hiking track that I was going, and I thought, how much money did I make, and how much money did I lose all of these years? But still, my bank account has always money. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like, it didn't matter how much I made. I made so much money. I lost it in the stock market. I made so much money. I lost it there. I made so much money. I lost it. And I said, all of this money came and go. All of this energy came and left. But I always was provided. I always had enough money to live. So the bank account of the universe is always providing. When I understand that if money is not flowing freely and abundantly in my life, the only thing that's holding it back is me. And I stood back. I did my work and I didn't look how much is coming. I never worried about coming or going. All I had to do was to wake up every morning, be happy and excited for a day, be curious about what the universe is going to put on my lap today, and that was it. If we learn to live every minute fully here, this minute and then the next minute, you will see all of that pressure will be lifted off your shoulder. So why don't we just try this? From this moment on, I choose to live every moment fully here. Know that everything is here to serve me. The boyfriend that breaks up with me, the loved ones that I lose, the job that I lose, the money that's not coming in, is here to serve me. So if we make this our mantra, everything is here to serve me. Nothing is showing up in my life without my previous invitation. Come on in, there is a lesson. So if you can recognize that the meaning that comes, if it comes from the mind and ego, is probably suffering. If it comes from the connection from the universe, oh my God, another lesson. I am sure I can overcome it.
How can we hear the lessons of the universe? How can we hear what the universe is trying to communicate with us?
The universe is constantly communicating with us. Let's turn the question around. What is stopping me from hearing the universe? The mind and ego. You know that I put so much focus on these two exercises, and I keep repeating myself. Our mind, mind, every day is making 75,000 to 95,000 thoughts. Imagine how much what happened, what did she say, what did it look like that, how come that person talked to me like that, does this person didn't like me, did I talk too much, did I talk to, imagine how much the activity of the mind, pay attention to it, right?
Mhm.
So if you listen, if you're busy listening to the monkey mind, what are the chances for you to hear the universe? So the first practice that I have, I call it thought cut silence, is I always say, imagine your mind making 75 to over 95,000 thoughts. The minute that you hear the first word that your mind is trying to get your attention, and I say, Bixie, imagine that you have a golden scissor in your mind and cut after Bixie. What remains after that? Nothing. Then the next thought comes, cut. The next thought comes, cut, 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 silence, silence, silence. Eventually, that millisecond of silence before the mind may introduce the next thought becomes 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 1 minute, and then eventually you end up that you understand the mind is a machine, is a thinking machine. And this machine is working 24. You don't have to identify yourself with it. You don't have to listen with it. As long as you separate yourself from the mind, you create this empty space, and this empty space allow you to hear the universe. The second one is the ego. From the minute that I wake up, I am aware that the ego has also waken up with me. So every second, I'm aware of my ego, this little child. I don't identify myself with the ego, I just observe the ego.
Thank you. Well, so the biggest take out of this lesson session for me was that if we silence the mind enough, we can hear the message of the universe. And once we hear that message, we no longer need to suffer. We can pass the lesson without the need to repeat it over and over again. It's like passing as a top student, like, passing the exams and becoming a top student and celebrating.
Mm. You have a choice at every second. Do I listen to the mind, or do I separate myself? Do I get involved with the mind, the chatter of the mind, or do I allow the thought comes and go? And I always say, thoughts are like the wind. They constantly come and go. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, some thoughts. Then it goes to your feeling. Your feeling changes according to the translation of your mind. You're happy, you're sad, you're empowered, you feel wounded. So everything that comes and goes is not real. The passing of the thoughts and the emotion. What's real is your inner guidance that is always there, is always
Mhm.
silence, is non-attached to the events, to the people. And once you are not attached to the thoughts and to the emotions, you are forever happy on ecstasy without taking any psychedelics.
Thank you so much.
Betsy, tell us, what do you think? What do you want to say?
Yeah, so what I took from you, Sudi, is to be present because now is the only real thing that we have, and just forget about everything that's happened in the past in order to move forward. Um, It reminds me of a book that I read as well. You know how you said like silence the mind because the thoughts are they're not real. They come and go. And Megan, what you said about the lessons, you said if we've actually learnt the lesson, then we won't get that same lesson come back to us again. It's true. You know how they say, like, for example, in a partner, if you don't learn that lesson, let's say you allow cheating, for example, you're going to get another man who might cheat on you, and then you have to learn that lesson to not stay with them and just leave them. And you know, it comes in friendships and different people. So if you learn the lesson and you move forward, then you'll never have to deal with it again, and you'll see signs as well.
So let's
Yeah,
learn
so
our lessons at the first exam. Let's pass the exam the
Yeah,
first time. Let's listen to the teacher. It's like exactly I remember being at school, right? And Sudi, some teachers I liked and I listened to them fully. And I was able to pass the exam without that much of studying. And I was the top student and they would celebrate me. But some teachers, I was not present at their classes and then I had to take the exam over and over again and suffer. So let us all pass the exam the first time
yeah.
by hearing the universe as the teacher.
absolutely. What I want to add here, guys, you see, if we are so not involved and listening to the thoughts,
Mhm.
every time we meet someone else, if I'm not so involved in my thoughts, how do they look like, or what are they thinking about me? How should I be behaving right now? Do they like me or not? Not. If I don't make it about me and I keep myself empty, everyone at the first second that we meet, they give us hundreds of informations. And I say, when I look at you, everything is written on your forehead. So when you're not so engaged with your thoughts and what's about me and how am I being perceived by the other person, if you're totally empty, you might be able to see a lot of red flags that the person is saying, I'm an asshole and I'm going to screw your life. But because you're so engaged in your thoughts, or what is he going to think about me? Does he like me? Does he not like me? How should I be talking? Should I be sitting? You keeping? Am I sitting straight or am I bending? Should I be this? Should I be sexy? Should I be? If you're not so engaged in yourself, you read the message. It's written on everybody's face, like, I'm an asshole, I'm your soulmate or twin flame. I'm going to come and screw your life. And then you're not hearing those messages because you're so involved with yourself that you're like, oh, I love his face. He's so good looking. I so want him to come in my life. So it's all about being fully present and empty at every second. Do you know, if you start choosing this practice and be fully present and empty, how much heartache, how much, people are not going to deceive you, they're not going to leave you, they're not going to abandon you. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when you meet somebody, even though I see people, I'm very forgiving about anything that people have done to me in the past. Why am I so forgiving? Because what happens a minute ago, I leave it, I close that chapter and I leave it there. I do not drag on with me whatever someone did to me 10 years ago or 2 weeks ago. Whatever happens, if somebody is rude to me, if I catch somebody was cheating on me, if I catch somebody that they were tricking me with money or whatever they stole from me, I talk to this person openly in that moment. We come to an agreement or not, I am done. I close that chapter. So imagine. all of you right now, imagine if every interaction you have with whoever it is, whether you resolve it or you weren't able to resolve it, close this chapter, close this chapter, close this chapter, close this chapter, then imagine when you meet somebody without their history, without their past, you're meeting them in a new eyes, empty for the first time. How would that change everything? On the contrary, imagine you leaving all this interaction you have with people, open chapter, open, 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 open. Every open chapter that you have, you lose some energy there. Are you with me?
Yes, like open tabs, too many
Yeah.
open tabs.
So what happened? If you leave this chapter open, somebody stole your money, you leave this chapter, somebody offended you, you leave this chapter, somebody stole your money, somebody tricked you. Imagine every one of these unclosed chapter is holding energy.
Mhm.
And then you wake up in the morning and you're exhausted and you don't have any energy and you don't know why. Do you see what I'm saying? Because going in the past, I always say that. I said, guys, you never, whenever you go to the past, please hear me out. Whenever you go to the past, you're you're losing double energy because you're moving backward. You're gonna get into that drama or trauma. You leave some energy there. Then you need more energy to bring yourself back. Do you see how much energy
Yes.
you're losing?
Yeah.
And I say it doesn't, you're never gonna find any treasure in the past. Whatever it is garbage. Don't waste your energy there. Let the past be the past. Everything that you have, every interaction you had with somebody, good or bad, forgive, close it. And always remember, you don't forgive people because they deserve it. You forgive people because you deserve to be happy and own your full energy. Whatever happened with whoever happened, like we always say, and you know that, you cannot eat poison and expect somebody else to die from poison. You're the one. Your wrong relationship is poisoning you, not the other person. So if you love yourself, or if you say, okay, I didn't love myself till now, start from now on. Start fully loving yourself. Nobody worth it for you to poison yourself. Don't ever give anyone else so much credit, so much energy to ruin your life. Your energy feels here.
Thank you so much,
You're
Siri
very
You're
June. This was
Thank
lovely.
you,
This is
Sudhi.
lovely.
very
Thank you so
welcome.
much. So the mantra here is that everything's here to serve me, and let's silence the mind so we can hear the message of the universe.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. Thank
guys.
you, Bexy.
Bexy,
Thank you,
I
Megan.
love you. You're a sweetheart, and you're not alone. We are all community. We're all together. We're gonna take this journey together.
Yes.
Megan, thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you,
See you
guys.
God and
next week.
Bye.
blessing.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.